Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Bourbon and Blockchain Happy Hour. Today is May 2nd, 2022. And yeah, this is me and Mr. Maverick here tonight. We're going to be talking about some crypto news and some crypto events, get you guys all caught up on what's been going on over the weekend since we talked to you last on Thursday. But that brings me up to a good point. Mr. Maverick, how are you and how's your weekend?
Oh, it was great, man. I'm happy to be home. We just got back from our vacation. It was some much needed relaxation, but you know how that is. After you get back from a vacation, you're like a laundry list of things to do, right? So
Yeah.
just in the midst of that, but man, it was a great vacation, but I missed being on. It
Yeah, we
was a
missed you. We had a bunch of fun topics where we brought you up because we knew you'd have a unique or a goofy perspective on what we were talking about. So we missed you, man. It's good to have you back.
yeah, thanks,
Yeah, and
Draco.
I'm glad you got to get some alone time and get some vacation time. So that's good, man.
Yeah, it was all good, bud.
So while you were on vacation, here's a question for you, just out of the blue. While you were on vacation, did you ever find yourself checking in on crypto to see what was going on in the markets, or did you just completely drop it and leave it alone?
Well, I may need to whisper this, okay, so my wife doesn't hear me. But yes, I did
Isn't
check in
it
on the
so
market.
hard?
Oh my gosh. It's
It's so
impossible.
hard.
It is. And I
Yeah.
did I did a few transactions and things, but you know what?
Ooh.
I did. But I was very cautious, very careful. And when you're in kind of a I don't know, an atmosphere like that outside of the country or whatnot, um, you really want to be on a secure network. And if you want to be on a really secure network, you need to be paying for it. Nothing secure comes free. So I was very cautious, careful, made sure we were, you know, on something safe in order to do so, and paid extra for it. So don't skimp on the internet, guys, when you're on vacation. If you're planning on doing crypto, just don't do it.
Absolutely. That's one of the pinnacle things that we talk about is making sure that you're connected to a secure network if you're going to contact or, get in hold of like a crypto wallet or something like that or access a network. Make sure that you're using a really good internet source so that that nobody else is going to be key logging you or monitoring your service. So
Yep.
that's good, man. That's really good. Well, we'll start off today by talking about the market. Now, the market is not doing bad and it's not doing good. It's kind of ranging in the middle. What have you been noticing? What have you been seeing? That's been going on in the crypto market over the last week or so.
So much uncertainty, right?
Hmm.
We get a streak of red days. We get a little bit of a rebound. We get another streak. I can't make heads or tails of it. The market can't make up its mind. And Myron, every episode when we talk about this reminds us kind of how it's following the market right now. And in general, it really is. So it's
Yeah.
not surprising. There's kind of some volatile ups and downs as we go, and I don't see that ending anytime soon.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that Bitcoin is held on to where it's held on at. I mean, still being in the $38,000 range, I think is incredibly resilient right now for Bitcoin. And I just hope that it stays that way and it keeps it up. But my alarms bells and stuff like that are telling me that it's going to drop more. But who knows? I mean, this is crypto. This is a different asset class. And sometimes when everybody around you is being bearish, and I don't know if you've noticed this, but to me, I'm starting to hear like bearish sentiment all the time. I feel like everybody's saying that crypto and Bitcoin's going to zero. That's when I start paying attention and saying, wait a minute, maybe there's something that could potentially happen here.
Yeah. Yeah, there's one thing, Myron, quit making fun of me, man. Come on. I can't help it. I'm addicted to gambling. 100 times leverage. Go for it or go big or go home, buddy. But yeah, one thing that we were talking about here recently, Draco, was the separation of value between Bitcoin and all the altcoins. Okay, we
Yeah.
call them blue chips, even though they're alts, right? I mean, look at Bitcoin. I don't know, what was it, just 2 months ago or a month ago when it was at 33,000. That was kind of the low
Hmm.
range. I think we didn't get any lower than that. If you look at what all the coins were valued at when Bitcoin was the last time at 33, compared to now, all of them are lower than
Hmm.
what they were when Bitcoin was at 33. So it's like Bitcoin is further, at least in my mind, separating itself, and people are seeking that out. I think more so as a safe haven, right? They
Hmm.
see it as less volatile. So Hey, that's an interesting trend. I don't know what to make of it quite yet, Draco, but I will say the alts are bleeding out at a much faster pace.
Yeah, I think what's in, obviously none of us are experts, right? I mean, we're doing our best to figure this out all together, and we're happy to have you guys along for the ride so that we can all learn together. And what I'm seeing is that Bitcoin is kind of surviving a little bit more because people see it as being more resilient. And another thing to think about, how many institutional investors are involved in all of those other cryptos? The only one that I would say that is anywhere near Bitcoin would be Ethereum. And there is a lot of institutional investors into Ethereum, and that's why that one's not moving as much as well, I think. So one of the things that Raoul Paul said, which I think is, a very, you know, in the know type investor, somebody that knows a lot about what's going on in the markets. He said we're not going to see, and this is his opinion, and I kind of tend to agree with him. We may not see 80 to 90% dumps on Bitcoin. Now the rest of the market we might see that, but not on Bitcoin because we have huge institutional investors now, such as Michael Saylor, ARK Investments, and coming up, Fidelity, Goldman Sachs, you know what I mean? BlackRock. So because those huge companies, Tesla, have those like huge amounts of Bitcoin, they're not going to sell it. They're not going to have paper hands, and they're not going to get rid of it and dump it on the market. And because of that, it's going to be more stable. And what we're going to see is that as more and more money gets pumped into Bitcoin, it's going to become more and more stable. It's going to increase in value and become more stable and not have as large of swings. And as that continues forward, more institutions will want to get involved.
Yep. Hey, you want to know what surprised me too? Because I was just doing some very bare bones analysis of what all the coins were doing in comparison to Bitcoin. Was BTC, Ethereum, and can you guess what the third one is that isn't being impacted as much as all the rest?
Luna.
Well, close. Yeah, BTC. I mean, BNB is actually holding up
Yeah, yeah.
pretty
BNB
pretty
is.
well.
Yep. And Luna
They're
is another one that's not. I mean, Luna's being backed by Bitcoin now, so they're going to be a lot
That's
more
right.
in tandem.
I think that one's going to become that one. I think, in my opinion, has one of the larger upsides currently. Right,
Right.
like I think people are going to flock to it more so now because of what they've done. Using BTC as a basis. So, yeah, but I was really surprised, man. Like we tease, about Binance sometimes and stuff, but I was pretty impressed to see how well statistically they are holding up, just like ETH is, right? So, just an interesting analysis.
Absolutely. Well, that'll get us going into our articles that we have for today. So the first article that we're going to talk about, we're going to stay on the topic of security. This article talks about a smartphone text prediction that guessed crypto holder seed phrases. So basically, you know, when you start texting on your phone, if you use common words over and over and over again, your phone will start to auto predict what the next word would be. So, like if you were going to say a phrase such as, I'll be home soon, and you type in "I'll be," it'll auto complete it and say "Be home soon." So, because of the way that this whole system works, the phone is just doing what it's supposed to do. It's auto correcting and it's figuring out what the next thing you're going to type is. And in doing so, they utilized the system to guess your seed phrase, and they were successful at it. And first of all, I'd like to hear your opinion on this. But overall, I think this is a great article that tells people that you should be very careful about utilizing your phone for crypto.
Yep, yep, I agree, and I don't think many people give this a whole lot of thought, Draco. And some people think that they're less immune if they use, say, an iPhone, or like I hear all sorts of things when it comes to this. I really honestly would recommend, and I think you're along the same lines too, Draco. Like, don't use your phone to access your primary wallet. If you do it on your own home network, right?
Right.
And I would be very, very cautious, though, just in general. And this was something I learned, Draco, by being a part of, Bourbon-n-Blockchain's group, and, just listening. And I've learned so much about security. And I think this is a big one. I think as time goes on, everybody has a phone in their pocket. Not everybody carries a laptop with them at all times. So if you think about like what the target that hackers are going for, I mean, the phone just seems like they're so much more abundant that there'd be a lot of opportunity there versus a CPU. So
Right.
yeah, I found this. These guys are brilliant. Number one, they should be working for like SpaceX, doing some important stuff rather than using predictive text to steal people's phrases. But hey,
Absolutely.
I mean,
Yeah.
just surprised.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people, when I tell them not to utilize their phones for, like when we have a crypto talk or security talk, people kind of get offended by that or they get defensive because they're not aware of all of the security risks that come along with utilizing your phone. And what I try to tell somebody is, listen, I'm not here to convince you. I'm here to just give you some things to think about, some food for thought. But here's what it ultimately comes down to. What are you willing to risk? Now, if you have one wallet and it's not behind a hard wallet, and on that wallet you have your entire crypto portfolio, go ahead and put that on your cell phone and use it at random Wi-Fi hotspots and see if that's safe. It's just not a good idea. Even if you
Yeah.
never get hacked, you were just constantly walking a thin line where you could have fallen left or right and lost all of your assets. Why risk it? If you really want to use your phone, and for example, I'm not saying not to ever use your phone, just be careful. Like for example, the Board 8 Yacht Club, if they have a big drop that's coming and you're going to be at work or you're not going to be at home and you want to be a part of that, it's fine to use a wallet for that, but make sure you're using a wallet that's separated from all of your other things just in case that wallet gets hacked. It's risk management. You got to practice good risk management.
Yep. Agreed. Agreed. I think this is just one more reminder that can help us be a little bit more wise in navigating and maybe thinking differently. So, if you're one of those people out there that's accessing crypto through your phone everywhere and anywhere, and you only have one wallet that you're accessing and it's your main wallet, then it's time to start doing something different.
Yeah. Well, yeah, this is one of those food for thought articles. I think that it's great that more and more people are starting to pay attention to this stuff. And I think that over time, we're going to start seeing more preemptive security model type articles that are saying, like, hey, here's something to think about or to consider going forward, rather than here's all the really, really bad news. I think we need to get ahead of the bad news and make sure that we're sharing with each other and practicing good security techniques from crypto. So,
Agreed.
I hope this continues.
Hey, bring back the Nokia phone, Myron. Bring it
Absolutely.
back.
The brick. I want the
That's
brick.
the indestructible brick.
Exactly. So on to the next article here. So this is an article about New York passing legislation about making rug pulls for projects illegal. So overall, what this article is about is that New York State Senate are criminalizing rug pulls and crypto frauds. I'd like to start with you in your opinion. How do you feel about this, and what does this article kind of say to you?
I mean, you want my real opinion about New
Yes,
York?
yes, I do. I
Well,
think it'd be interesting.
looking at their legislative history and the things they focus their time and attention on, and their success at the things they have focused their time and attention on, I just want to ignore this article because they're not going to accomplish anything, right? They're not going to be the front runners. They're not going to be able to successfully seek and destroy these people that are coming, and rug pulling. This just not the way. They're not going to be successful, right? I I have mixed emotions. I feel like, and we've talked about this in weeks past, Draco, that there's a need uh, to protect investors. Regulation has its place, but we're all a little leery too because we don't know what to expect from regulation. All I can tell you is New York is not the regulator that we want working for us. They are not working in our best interest, and I don't have confidence or faith in their ability to execute any plan like this effectively.
So I agree with you, and I think, and personally, I think that this was a knee-jerk reaction to the blowback that New York got when they said that they were going to start cracking down on proof of work and they were going to ban proof of work and set up all of these different crazy hurdles that you had to get through and the amount of reusable energy that they want. Like they wanted you to use a large percentage of reusable energy and stuff like that, and that you were going to pay all these fines and you had to be grandfathered in. It was just crazy, and they got a lot of blowback for that. And a lot of it, people are saying, is because the New York Stock Exchange is there, and they don't like crypto because it's infringing on the amount of money that they're making. So they're trying to beat up on crypto a little bit to try to protect their business, which kind of makes sense, right? So I feel like there was like a meeting. We always talk about it. Like, we all sit down at this big table and they're all sitting at the meeting and say, all right, we're getting beat up bad. What can we do to fix this? How about we attack people that are already doing things illegally that are, that isn't good? Everybody hates rug pulls. Yeah, yeah, we'll make a law about rug pulls. And then this is
Sounds
what
good.
comes out. This is exactly like, in my opinion, this is what this is.
Yeah, I agree. And the fact that I think, like you said, the New York Stock Exchange, all the people there that operate within that industry in itself, making just absurd amounts of money. I mean, they are becoming desensitized to crypto, right? People are, I believe, they're seeing it as the next class, market class, right? And so this is one way just to gain more exposure because what are they going to start, the New York Crypto Exchange, right? Like,
Right.
how
Oh
are they going
no.
to how are they going to leverage? Because that's what they're thinking. It's all about leverage, right?
Well, they're freaking out. They're running around with their heads cut off, and they realize that they're behind the curve already. And right here in the article, it talks about how a need to catch up with new technology that they still don't understand, a desire to not be outdone by other states like Wyoming, Texas, Miami. Even though Miami's not a state, but the point is that all of these other states are adopting cryptocurrency. They're getting way ahead of it. Wyoming's allowing you to buy property with crypto. They're allowing real estate transactions in crypto. They're allowing you to open crypto businesses and all this other stuff. Texas, and we already, on our last show, we talked about how Fort Worth and Texas, in general, is super crypto friendly. And they have mining that is being paid for by their cities to include Fort Worth, where they're actually purchasing crypto equipment as part of the city's plans to make additional funds for their business and for their state. That's crazy. That's state sponsored crypto. And I think that all of these other states are going to be way ahead of New York, and they're stuck in their in centuries past, and they're not willing to stay ahead of the game, and they're going to get left behind. So I agree with you, and I don't think the crypto exchange is going to be in New York. It might be somewhere else. They might decouple completely from the New York Stock Exchange.
I think they would be wise to do so. I do.
I agree.
I don't think it's going to be a progressive mindset. Let's just put it that way.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, and I think that the more, bullish news that we get, maybe New York didn't think that crypto would catch on. And now that you have all the bullish news that we keep talking about on these shows twice a week and everything that we're picking up on throughout the week, we're starting to realize how much attention it's getting. And I think they're starting to realize how much attention it's getting. And now they're freaking out.
That's right. And no, it won't be in Wyoming either, Christine. No, no.
It will not be in Wyoming. I would be very surprised if it. I think Texas right now has a grip on the crypto market, and I think the only other places that are really competing with them would be Florida, Miami. That's another mecca right now for cryptocurrency.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same. I would throw Austin, Miami, and Denver into
Yep,
the mix as far as like the biggest cultural movements happening in those areas.
absolutely. Well, that brings us up to our next article. So for some reason, the pictures in this article are not loading. So I apologize for that for people that are looking. But as a lot of people know, Yuga Labs and Bored Ape Yacht Club had a huge minting over the weekend, and things went crazy. So to summarize this, uh, gas prices just shocked through the roof. People were spending between $3,000 to $7,000 in transactions. Some people were doing 2.6 ETH up to 5 ETH to complete a transaction to buy the Bored Ape Yacht Club, Yuga Labs, other deeds NFTs. So it's like an NFT that's based on metaverse that they're creating on their own, and a lot of people ended up getting pushed out that were trying to purchase these NFTs, and they were pushed out by the gas fees, and a lot of transactions failed. Um, to be fair, the Bored Ape Yacht Club and the Yuga Labs offered to pay some people back that didn't their transactions didn't go through. and they offered to pay back some of the gas fees, but overall it's been slammed as a horrible process that just didn't work, and they ended up making approximately $310 million. So unfortunately, I think this is just an example of, you know, just too much at once and people going completely crazy about a project. And the one good thing that I can say that happened out of this is that Ethereum didn't break. Ethereum, even though gas prices went up over 7,000 gwei, it didn't break, and it was still functional. So, uh,
7,000 gwei. My
yeah,
gosh.
yeah, it was seven. So at one point, I heard that it was over $300 to do one Uniswap. It was $300 to just do a Uniswap. So
That's
that's
incredible.
uh, that's bad. We
It's
need to fix
horrible.
it. We need to fix
Oh,
it.
that's right. That's right. I wish Myron was on because I was talking to him the other day and he was on his Nokia phone trying to participate in this minting, and his battery went dead right as he went to authorize transactions. So uh
Oh,
yeah, right. The Nokia phone saved you, Myron.
the brick.
The brick. No, hey, I personally know of someone and heard him specifically talk about what it cost him to mint, and it was around $3,000. So I don't know, 1.2, 1.4 ETH just to mint. That was just the gas to mint.
That's
So
crazy.
just it's insane. Who would have ever thought, right? So, and then on top of that, and I think it's in this article, Draco. Correct me if I'm not wrong, but they were also utilizing this event and these astronomical gas fees to then bolster the case for a future L1 blockchain that they're building. Is that correct?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't read that portion. I did see that um, in utilizing this, the data from Glassnode, it says right here that it showed that almost 70,000 ETH was burned on the day of the mint. That's how much they utilized that quickly.
Oh my gosh! Wow. Yeah, so us being on the fringe, it makes me wish that I would be in this board eight yacht, club group of individuals. I am not, but speaking from the fringe, who would have ever thought, right? I mean,
Right.
I know I can tell you this: something needs to change. It can't. If one project can dictate that kind of a movement just in gas, then something needs to be fixed. Something needs to change.
Yep. And you were right. It says it right here. Many community members were unhappy with the event, and according to a Twitter user, several users have speculated that the mint was planned to fail so that the group can advertise launching its own blockchain, as the team mentioned a chain migration in one tweet because of the event. So it's almost like they're taking advantage of, the failure, and they don't really care who misses out on it or who, is financially destroyed by it.
Yeah, is it about community at that point?
Yeah, right.
I mean,
Yeah,
arguably, they have probably one of the strongest communities in the history of the NFT world, right? And
yeah.
when you start throwing those type of accusations out, which I'm not saying they're true whatsoever, because I don't know, but my gosh, it makes you think, right?
Yeah, I've always wondered, we've talked about this in the past as well. NFTs are great. I just, I wonder how long and how valuable these projects will stay, when it comes to all of these crypto projects. Like once the art exists, unless they keep doing all of these different things like Bored Ape is doing, will they keep their value long term? I don't know. But there's so much art being, posted every single day, and there's so many communities that are supporting all this stuff. I just don't know how long that bubble will last. And I think that it's great. And I think there's a lot of really good projects out there that mean well. But then for every good project that's out there that is awesome and that I support personally, there's other projects that really don't, that aren't really doing anything for their community members. And, you really don't know who's behind them as well.
Yeah, talking to some of our members who are super heavy in NFTs, they've really got me to think a little bit differently about them. And like you're saying, there's some that rely on buzz and new developments and constantly striving to innovate, right? In order to maintain their relevancy. But I think when you think of NFTs, really NFTs are art at the basis of what they truly are. That's what they are. They're a piece of art. And just like in the real world, pieces of art, certain pieces of art will always stand out. A Picasso. I mean, there's pieces of art out there. Modern day would be like a Peter Max, right? Peter Max, one of his cheapest paintings, and he's living, is $20,000. I mean,
Wow.
that's a lot, right? But there's
Right.
certain things I think that will stand the test of time, and I think long term it will mimic a similar market that we see to just the art, in real life art.
Right.
Utility aside, there's going to be some that stand out just because they're innovative, groundbreaking, but there's going to be some that
Yeah, and I
incredible
think that
designer.
Yeah, and I think that Board 8 Yacht Club has made its mark, and I think it'll always go down in history as being the first huge, like outside of CryptoPunks and whatnot. I think it'll go down in history as being one of the first huge NFT projects. Now, what everybody is constantly chasing is the next Board 8 Yacht Club, and it's just a constant battle of people trying to make that next project. So, it's interesting to watch. It's interesting to see, but I hope Yuga Lab does right. I hope that they're not on the wrong side of crypto. But with things like this, you just, you ask yourself, could it have done better? I think that it could have. I think they could have done their launch better. There's a lot of examples of other projects in the world that have done things right, and I just think they could have put a little bit more time into it. That's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, no, I agree.
All right, on to the next one. Believe it or not, one of my favorite projects, hint, hint, nudge, nudge, Solana, faced another outage for the seventh time. Now, I'm not going to beat up Solana a bunch. I think I've made it very clear that I think Solana is a speculative investment, just like everything else. But personally, I don't see what the huge deal with Solana is outside of, cheaper minting and cheaper purchasing for NFTs. There's a whole bunch of different chains that do that. And in my opinion, now, I mean, Solana has to be the most unreliable network. I mean, it has to be at this point. So, what are people so bullish about with this project? I'd like to hear your opinion about it. Why is Solana so popular? What are people going ape about? And you know, is it losing its reputation for being, something that you can rely on?
Yeah, number one, I don't know why this has captured the market share that it does. Okay. I can tell you, and we discussed this previously, Draco, the NFT market on Solana is unlike any other at the moment. Okay. So I think that draws in large, large crowds. And when I say large crowds, when you jump in some of these groups for a project on Solana, you're looking at anywhere from 100,000 to 250,000 people. Okay. And so that's massive amounts of people with interest. So naturally, I think that has bolstered their market share. I'm sure there's many, many other reasons, but I'm with you. I'm not really sure. But the thing is about investors, here we are. It's the seventh major outage that they've had. And I can't really think of many other outages outside of Solana here in the recent past. Can you?
No, I mean, like, I know that Ethereum has had a lot of their stuff pushed back. They're not hitting their targets on upgrades and stuff like that. But
But
other than
straight
that,
outages, like
no, straight
that's
outages are they're pretty rare. I think Polygon had one at some point last year, like at the peak. But other than that, there's not very many to note.
yeah. So, but the thing is, investors, us, we're so short-sighted whenever there's a successful means to make money. And so,
Right,
yeah, it's horrible. Do they need to be upgraded? Absolutely. But are people running away from Solana? Probably not,
right.
because they know if they can get their hands on the next OK Bear. Did you hear about OK Bears that
N-
launched like this past week?
No, I'm not huge. Like, I pay attention to NFTs, but I'm not huge into them. So, what happened with OK Bears?
Well, I mean, they launched. They did very well to launch. I don't remember what they minted for, but it was, whenever I caught wind of it, it was around like 50 Solana. I think the floor was at 50 Sol, which is at the time around $5,000 for a subpar image of a bear, and I'm gonna get hate from people if they're in it because I just don't see it right. Like it's not a bored ape, like from my perspective. But they immediately within like a 24 to 48 hour period were over 200 Solana.
Hmm.
I mean, it was insane. It just the activity there on Solana right now in the NFT world is where it's at. That's where people are at the moment.
Hmm.
So I'd just be curious to know what market share uh, the NFTs have under their control of Sol right now. Like outside of the NFTs, how much market do they really have in DeFi in general?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. And it seems like NFTs is their main niche right now. And I
It
think
is.
two things come out of this like article that we can really focus on when it comes to overall crypto projects or layer ones is A, they say that bots were primarily responsible for the network outage. Well, then we need to find new ways to get rid of bots because bots are killing the industry. Like it's been a problem for a long time now. How are we going to fix that, right? How is the crypto world going to fix bots and get rid of them? And number two, I think that what I kind of see, and I think everybody kind of sees this, they just haven't been able to articulate it yet, or, NFTs are becoming the next DAO project that comes out, and everybody wants to buy in early and then dump on everybody. Right now, like it seems like the popular way to make money with NFTs to get into early projects that have tons and tons of followers, to get in early, mint, and then sell it at a profit and do it quickly. And it seems like, if you want to play that game, if that's the game you want to play and you want to follow all the rules and get all of the, interactions so that you can get the whitelist and spend hours of your time doing that, if that's your niche, then do it. But like for me personally, I don't see that being something that'll last long term. And it's just not a game I personally like playing. Like I just don't like going through all those steps personally. It doesn't appease me at all.
Yeah, what I found with NFTs is very much the people that are successful in it have a specific character about them, right? Just for the simple fact, like certain people are just better at hustling and selling things, and
Right.
like natural salespeople, they enjoy it. They thrive off of a flip, right? Flipping a
Right.
property, flipping a whatever it may be. I'm the kind of guy that growing up, I would go buy a video game, and that thing would sit on my shelf for 20 years, right? It'd
Right.
become something of the past and be worth 2 cents. Whereas my brother was the opposite. My brother would go buy it used, beat it, turn around and flip it within the same week back at GameStop and trade it in for something newer. And he'd continue to do that. And so he's of that mindset. I never
Right.
have been. So that's why I struggle with NFTs, right? I know I probably shouldn't, and there's ways of manipulating it, but the character flaws that I have, or the character in general that I have, the traits don't lend well to flipping things.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. And I think that, we talk about that all the time where one of the best things you can do as an investor, whether it's crypto or the stock market or any type of investment platform, is to figure out what type of trader you are. Are you a hodler? Can you just buy something and hold on to it no matter what? Like if it go like I said, I'll hold on to something until it's into the crust of the earth. Like just hitting the ground isn't enough. I'll just keep holding it until it's on fire and melting, and I'll just be like, no, it's fine, everything's good. Then there's other people that are flippers, people that are traders, people that are day traders. Like, could you imagine day trading crypto? I mean,
Mm,
it's just not, that's definitely not my investment type. But if that's what you're good at, then, by all means, learn how to do that stuff. So I think that it's important to learn what type of, investment strategy you are good at prior to just deploying your investment strategy into whatever you're doing.
yep, completely agree. And I envy those people that are
Right.
successful NFT traders because I think it's cool. I really do. I'm intrigued by it, but I'm not good at it.
No,
Not
I'm
yet.
terrible at it. Like if you're good at it, a couple of people that are really good at it. Myron Gaines is really good at it, and I know that David the Foot, he's good at it. There's people in our group that are great at it, and I try to get them to like teach me a little bit too. Nari's good at it. I'm just terrible. I just know I'm horrible at it, and I have no patience, and I'm just not interested in it. So I'll buy an NFT here and there, but I am not an NFT trader by any means. I'm just not good
Hey,
at it. So,
hey,
if you're good at it, good on you. That's good.
hey, listen to this too. It looks like Christine mentioned just a little while ago in the chat that she's going to post some alpha for the members, a new
Ooh,
project, NFT project similar to the Krabbies on AVAX that she found. And so if anybody's listening in, yeah, go check out the B&B Discord and look for Christine's post. I'm
ooh,
interested, Christine, but I need your help. You need to tell me when to sell
yeah.
too, because I'll hold it
I'll
until
just
I
give you the
die.
money and then tell me when to sell
That's
it.
right.
All right. So that brings us to our next article. So the easy way to explain this one is Michael Saylor, Jack Dorsey, and other Bitcoin advocates write a letter to the EPA rebuting their Democrats' misinterpretations and misperceptions of proof of work mining. So long story short, we know this. We've been talking about this. I just think it's great that people are starting to have the gumption to hit back and make sure that we're setting the record straight. So there's been a lot of things that have come out about proof of work and how much energy is used by Bitcoin mining. And if you're at all into crypto, if you've been paying attention, you can. It's pretty easy to debunk all of that. The amount of energy that's utilized by Bitcoin mining is obviously substantial, but it's nowhere near substantial to other industries and things like of that nature. For example, just banks in general and how much energy they use is well over like 100 times the amount of Bitcoin energy usage, in the same year. So these individuals came together and gave a rebuttal or a response to these individuals in the EPA and let them know, trying to set the record straight. And I hope that I've been saying this for a long time. There's got to be people that stick up for this asset class. There's got to be individuals that are smart and connected and wealthy to make sure that people don't try to take advantage of this market or crush it for their own means. And I've been calling them the crypto Avengers. And I actually made a tweet this last weekend saying it's time to get the crypto Avengers together. And people like I guess we can add Jack Dorsey to it because he's kind of a crypto enthusiast. He likes Bitcoin and whatnot, but people like Elon Musk and Michael Saylor, um, you know, Kathy Wood, all of these people, have a lot to say and they understand crypto and Bitcoin, and we need to keep them in our corner and they need to be at the forefront of legislation.
Yeah, there are lobbyists at the moment, and that's exactly what we need. That's why lobbyists exist, right? They look out for the best interest of whatever it is they're representing, and that's what these people are doing. So it's great. I'm glad it's coming from some profound people in the space because that's really when people pay attention, right? And unfortunately, if Draco or Maverick walk in there and we're like, "Hey, you got it wrong," they're pretty much shut the door in our face. But
Mhm.
these guys have a reputation. They have a lot of skin in the game. They're known. People respect what they have to say, and they're educated very highly in what they're what they represent. So I think it's good. It's great. And EPA, come on, they know they're not dumb. Again, things have been politicized to benefit certain beliefs or structures, and people throw a lot of nonsensical or non-factual information out there, and then it's up to you to rebuke it, and that's what they're doing. And yeah, I can appreciate what they've done, and I'm sure this is just the beginning.
Yeah. 2 points that I have to bring up is one, I read an article that said that airline flights from Lithuania were going back and forth to the US so that they don't lose their status in their slot, so that they can continue to land and keep priority status. And they were flying empty flights. There was nobody on them.
Makes
And
perfect sense.
it makes perfect sense, right? We're just going to destroy fuel and use more and more jet fuel just so that we keep our status just for when people want to travel again. Like that kind of stuff, it drives me nuts. And out of all the things that are going on in the world, you want to attack proof of work, proof of stake, and cryptocurrency, right? It just doesn't make any sense to me. But that's how it works. It's politically motivated, and I think that the best thing that's going to come out of this is I don't think that huge cryptocurrency companies or investment firms or Bitcoin or any of this stuff I don't think they're afraid of renewable energy. I just don't think that we've gotten to the point where it was so easy to do it. And I think as we move forward, we're going to see tons of renewable energy options for crypto. And I know that one of the things that they've been talking a lot about is solar and whatnot. But I think one of the biggest ones that we're going to see, especially when it comes to state ran and funded crypto, we're going to see a lot of hydroelectric energy, like big dams. And, dam energy hasn't been utilized as much as it has in the past. And I think this would be a great reason or a great way to revitalize a lot of that and spend a lot of that energy on localized cryptocurrency mining. I mean, that's a lot of energy that is put out there, and plus you could utilize the water for cooling properties and this, that, and the other. So I think that we're going to start seeing a lot of hydroelectric Bitcoin mining and proof of stake mining. I think that's going to be, I'm sorry, proof of work mining. I think that's going to be a wave of the future, and it's like 100% renewable energy.
Yep, I agree. I agree. We talked about renewable energy here recently in an article, right? There was a group of A&M grads that got together and they created kind of a
Yeah,
mutual agreement to where they could use the flare gas off of the West Texas oil field, where they're just flaring off natural gas because they don't have a means to sell it, right? They're
right,
producing oil and gas at the same time. They have oil lines set up there to transfer the oil. They don't have gas lines to transfer the gas. So rather than do that, they burn it. Well,
right.
I mean, perfect, right? They're 100% utilizing it, something that otherwise would have just been wasted, right? So I think like those people, the innovators, if somebody can, like you said, kind of spearhead and create some sort of a hydroelectric, structure or apparatus that people could put in their local river or stream. I mean, heck, I have a natural stream in our behind where we live. So I mean, like it would be super easy, right? So I think you're on to something, and I agree. The hydroelectric, it's something that's not been utilized sufficiently, but it's free energy.
Yep. And I think we're going to see more and more small companies, entrepreneurs that are going to make hydroelectric devices that you can connect to like a shed or a Connex box and put Bitcoin mining machines in there, and you've got free energy, running your Bitcoin miners. That's who doesn't want that? Um,
That's right.
I think that's exactly what's going to be happening, and the off gassing thing is a great idea. But you know as well as I do that some individual that has no knowledge of what's going to go on is going to make up a lie, and it's going to trend on Twitter, and they're going to say, "Well, that off gassing that they're doing for Bitcoin mining, that's just it's bad for the environment." And then it's going to get all this, oh, they're using all this gas and all this emissions to mine Bitcoin, and they're not even really going to know what they're talking about, but it'll cause enough attention that people will start paying attention to it, and it takes 10 times longer to fix the lie than it is to make it up.
Right. And those same people are going to demand that they pay carbon credits or buy carbon credits. And what are carbon
Exactly.
credits? I mean, really, what is a carbon credit? Tell me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and then we're going to end off on a great note. We've been talking about this. This has been a theme of ours that we constantly hit on is institutional adoption and banking adoption. That's what's going to drive this all into the moon. 100%. This is saying that Goldman Sachs recently offered its first Bitcoin backed loan. The large investment bank announced opening its first ever loan facility backed by Bitcoin. This comes new months after their 100K K price prediction. So the first bank that made a loan was, I'm pretty sure it was Silvergate or something like that. That's the one that Michael Saylor borrowed from so that they could buy more Bitcoin for MicroStrategies. So, what do you think about Goldman Sachs jumping into the ring and starting to work with Bitcoin and make BTC backed loans?
I mean, this is where the magic happens. This
Yeah,
is, I mean, it really is. This is one door opened that moves us even closer to more of an institutional mindset, right? That further solidifies potentially Bitcoin as a store of value in the future, similar to, in my opinion, even probably greater than what gold has accomplished. So,
I completely agree.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, I have nothing negative to say about this. To full transparency, I didn't read this article, but when Goldman Sachs throws their hat in the ring, everybody looks, everybody is
Hmm.
watching, and trust me that this is something that's being talked about in the banking world at the moment at large. As soon as Goldman Sachs has done it, now others are going, huh, maybe we need to start looking into this a little bit closer, right? Maybe they're on to something if they haven't already been doing that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's crazy. Some of the really, really big companies, some of the biggest companies, BlackRock has been getting into Bitcoin. They're offering, they opened up an ETF. We didn't bring that up tonight, but they're opening an ETF to invest into crypto related companies. So, again, another theme we've been noticing is that large investment companies want to get into crypto, but they can't buy crypto specifically because it's not regulated. So how are they getting into crypto? They're investing into crypto projects and crypto companies. So that's a huge theme that's been going on. And number two, you've got Fidelity offering IRAs for your individual retirement account. Up to 20% of your IRA or your investment or your 401k can now be dedicated to Bitcoin. And right now, Bitcoin's the only one that they're accepting, but they also said that as crypto grows and more of them gain popularity and things like that, they will potentially accept other cryptos into their portfolios. And then now you've got Goldman Sachs getting in. I think what we're going to see is a cascade effect of FOMO from institutional investors long term. And if you think FOMO is bad at the retail section, wait till you have a FOMO of companies that have trillions of dollars to spend on investment assets. I think that this is just the beginning. And as other institutional investors get involved, I think it's just going to set the precedence for large companies to add this to their portfolio.
Agreed. And when they do that, and when people, the average citizen of whatever country across the world has that as part of their retirement or as part of their, just stock portfolio in general, it further bolsters its relevancy, right? It's a security and its popularity in general. Because right now, there's people still fear what they don't understand. Well, guess what? When they start offering it through these large institutions, it removes a lot of fear because they feel more secure parking money
Absolutely.
there and they trust in these banks. So, hey, positive all around. I love. I think that's one of the greatest parts about this show, Draco. It's like we review this every week, and those people that are following along, it's like we're almost seeing things unfold slowly before our eyes.
Yep.
It really is just by covering these articles on a weekly and a monthly basis. So I see the trend. I hope everybody else is paying attention.
Yeah, and I think that I'm going to stick to my prediction that I had a couple weeks ago. I think that this year in 2022 we will have a bank, and when I say a bank, I mean an actual physical bank like Chase or JP Morgan Chase, or one of these physical banks that you can go into, US Bank, where you can actually walk in the door or sign into your app on your phone and buy Bitcoin on your phone in your app, and then they have custody of it. So you'll be able to purchase Bitcoin with your money in your account, and then they'll hold on to it. They have custody of it, so it's backed and insured by your bank. I see that coming this year, and when that happens, the industry is going to go insane. Anybody, your mom, your grandma, your brother, your sister, your daughter, your son, anybody can buy Bitcoin. And then these banks are going to have it on hand to offer it to you. So large, huge institutional banks are going to have to buy it and hold it in order to offer it to you to be able to give it to you. I mean, that's insane. The amount of Bitcoin that's going to be off exchanges is going to be at an all-time high, and the price is going to go along with it. And
You just gave
I
me
think it could happen this year.
you just gave me goosebumps.
I'm telling
You
you, it's
you just gave
insane.
me goosebumps. That's it. I'm trading in all my savings for Bitcoin right now.
Well, don't do that.
I'm doing it. Draco said so. No, I'm kidding. I hope your prediction is right, Draco. It's that's really that's an insightful thing to think through. I don't think people are thinking that deep into it either. But the fact that you are, and that B&B is constantly thinking through these things and identifying the future trends, not just in DeFi or NFTs, but in the market as a whole, I think it really benefits us as traders. It helps us to reserve our capital. It helps us to understand where we want to park our funds in hopes for them to grow and, further bolster our future lifestyle. So, man, I just a pretty insightful thing to think through.
Well, and if I took it one step further, I would say my prediction is the first bank to do it will be Wells Fargo. And the reason why I say that is because Wells Fargo used to be a bank that ran gold and money across the United States and would protect it. Wells Fargo, if you look at Wells Fargo and if you go to their website and you see the horse and carriage, and they used to protect funds going across the country in gold. So I think that the new thing that they could potentially protect and provide people in the United States would be Bitcoin.
Oh, can you
That's my
imagine
that's my guess.
can you imagine the marketing that they could create just based on that philosophy? I mean, oh man, yeah. I hope you're right, Draco. I do. I do. I
We'll
think
see. I mean, only
that
only
that
time will tell, right?
yeah, this is a step change, man. This nothing when it comes to like a f- like a change of people's minds, right? Period. Like it just takes years. It takes time, and what we're seeing unfold before us is a slow step change and moving towards a more mainstream use of this technology in the future.
Absolutely. Well, that's all I've got for tonight. Is there anything else that you'd like to bring up or discuss before we let everybody go?
No, I'm good, Draco. It was a great discussion tonight. I enjoyed it.
Absolutely. I enjoyed it as well. It's great just having conversations about cryptocurrency, and it's great getting everybody caught up. And we'll have to see what happens from now until Thursday. So I hope to see everybody back again on Thursday. Thank you guys all for coming. We love having you guys here. Thank you for interacting and giving us a thumbs up or chatting it up on the chat side. And we hope to see all of you again on Thursday. And if not, we'll see you in the Discord. So have a good night.
Yep. Good night, guys.